In Washington and across the country, high stakes over 4-decade high inflation, up 9% year over year. In Illinois, mother of 3 and special ed teacher Ellie Alvarado says it's taking a financial and emotional toll. Clothing up 5%, gas up nearly 60%, food prices up 10.5%, forcing them to cut back.
And now it's back to kind of paycheck to paycheck and watching to make sure we're not going into overdraft.
At a food bank in Loudoun County, Virginia, so many families are asking for help. They ran out of food after 90 minutes today.
We are seeing 20 to 25 new families each week that are coming in that are new to us, that have never gotten our services before.
Meanwhile, a new AAA poll finds 88% of those asked are cutting back on driving due to higher gas prices. While prices have recently dropped, they're still averaging $4.36 a gallon nationwide. All of it adding pressure on the Fed, expected to raise interest rates another 0.75 percentage point this week, just as second quarter GDP numbers could signal if the economy shrank for 2 quarters in a row, a common definition for a recession.
CBS 4's Ashley Dyer joins us live in Homestead tonight, and she has more on why farmers tell us that they are reaching their breaking point. Ashley.
John Alger, who owns this farm, says it's been a struggle to make ends meet for the last 10 years, even before the pandemic, before supply chain issues, and now inflation. He says farmers all over South Florida are reaching a breaking point. This 3-generation farm with fields of sweet corn and green beans stretches for miles, supplying the entire East Coast with its crops. It's where John Alger and his 2 companions spend the majority of their time.
Babies.
But days like these may be short-lived.
We're at a crossroads right now. We don't know whether we should continue to even go this next winter. Our costs are 26% higher than what they were 2 years ago.
On top of that, the farm's 10-year average return is 15% less than the projected cost to keep it running.
My numbers say stop. A man with common sense would stop.
John's been tapping into his savings to keep the farm afloat.
The last 10 years, it's been a very expensive hobby.
One FIU professor says the problems farmers are facing likely won't go away anytime soon.
Gasoline, for example, has risen over 60% over the past calendar year, exerting tremendous pressures on farmers who depend on fuel to work their lands.
And there's growing worry our economy could get worse.
The probability of a downturn in the economy over the next 12 months is 48%, up from 30% just from the previous month.
From Homestead to Belglade, we're all being crushed. There used to be over 100 farmers down here. We're down to less than 9.
And that's leaving the future of agriculture up in the air.
It's pretty bleak. It's bleak.
Unfortunately, the stress caused by uncertainty may be too great to bear for many farmers.
New at 11, all of us are feeling the impacts of inflation, whether it's at the grocery store, the gas pump, you name it. And for families that rely on food pantries for their next meal, they have been seeing less food on their plates for the past few weeks. WCT's Mara McJilton was at the food bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina today. And Mara, with rising prices due to inflation, the food bank has been seeing less donations.
That's right, Daniela, and I'm told donations have actually dropped off even more than they did throughout the pandemic. But prices have increased across the board, and so has the demand for families in need of another meal.
It's not the first time that we have seen slow donations, and unfortunately, it may not be the last.
The Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina is feeling the impacts of inflation just like everyone else. Donations have dropped off lately, even more so than in the height of the pandemic.
Food costs more. Trucking that food to the food bank costs more. And at the same time, we know that people in the community are paying those higher prices, not just for food, but for gasoline or to keep their air conditioner on. You know, those are across the board increases that they're seeing as well.
Beth Gaglione is the branch director for the food bank's Wilmington location. She says they're paying about 20% more for trucking the food and about 40% more for the food they're actually buying directly from the store.